Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamie Holmes. New York's Republican candidate for governor was attacked Thursday during a campaign speech. Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin was on stage at a campaign event in Parenton. According to the police report, the 43-year-old attacker, David Jackbonis, walked on stage with a weapon and attempted to stab Zeldin. Zeldin's office says Zeldin grabbed the man's wrist to stop him. The attacker was then tackled to the ground and took Jackbonis into custody. He was charged with attempted assault in the second degree, arraigned and released. Zeldin was not hurt in the incident. Police in Rochester are investigating a shooting that killed an officer and injured another. It happened last night. Police say officers Anthony Mazurkowitz and Sino Seng were conducting a detail when at least one male approached them and opened fire, killing Mazurkowitz and injuring Seng. The shooting comes hours after the mayor, Malik Evans, declared a gun violence state of emergency in response to a recent surge in shootings. So far, no suspects are in custody. A new major will be available at Elmira College starting this fall. The new Media Studies, Communication and Design program can be taken as both a major and a minor. An announcement about that program stated its focus is on the production and analysis of different types of media. According to the course website, the program was designed to be flexible and to pair well with other programs. In Savona, the Hillview Acres Farmers Market has made its return. Our Maggie Hall gives us a preview about what shoppers can expect from the market.
Today, I visited Hillview Market to see the renovations, rebirth, and revitalizations that they've got going on in the hills of Savona. Clint Godfrey, one of the owners, says that they have big plans for the place. Part of these plans include adding Adirondack cabin-like siding to the main buildings and turning the log cabins that are on the property into Airbnbs. The main buildings will house an A to Z market with the open-air flea market right outside.
Hillview Market is a restoration project where we're going to be part of the community, bring people in. We're restoring this beautiful land that was let go for a long time, full of garbage, and we're turning into an area where people can come and be happy as like a family in a community. Vendors of all types, artisans, everything and anything you can imagine can be here.
Here's what you have to do to be a vendor at Hillview Acres Market.
Right now on Facebook, it would be Hillview Acres Market, the two words. Or you can contact us at hillviewacres7110 at yahoo.com or 607-385-6561.
Along with the flea/farmers market, the property also has a pond with koi fish. But koi aren't the only animals at Hillview.
As you can see behind me is the farm. We have miniature zebu and different animals like that, miniature goats, and we have different creatures of that type, and we want to teach the community too about those.
Hillview Market is open Friday through Sunday right outside of Savona. The address is 7110 State Route 226. The folks at Hillview will be happy to have you. This is Maggie Hall with WYDC Big Fox News, Savona.
The first annual Putt and Pints event will be held tomorrow. Park Avenue Sports Center in Corning and Liquid Shoes Brewing Company are teaming up to put on the event. Customers will be able to enjoy some beverages provided by Liquid Shoes Brewing and then play a round of mini golf at the center. The event will be open from 4 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. President Biden is in isolation after testing positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. With his schedule packed the last several days leading up to the diagnosis, it's unclear where the commander-in-chief got the virus. Mark Meredith has the update now on the president's condition from Washington.
As of 10 p.m. last night, which was my last update, he was doing great. It was the same symptoms, about the same level of mildness.
The White House's coronavirus response coordinator says the president is still experiencing mild symptoms like a dry cough and runny nose 1 day after he tested positive for COVID-19. The president remains in isolation, but White House officials say he will work throughout his recovery with multiple virtual meetings scheduled today.
We are fully committed to transparency here. You're going to hear every day from Dr. O'Connor through written communication. He was going to put out his own statement with his assessment of how the president is doing.
In the last week, the president has traveled both domestically and internationally. Now the White House has the massive task of conducting contact tracing in an effort to try to figure out who else may be infected. So far, Vice President Kamala Harris has tested negative for the virus. Doctors say because of the president's age, he's 79, officials chose to prescribe him the antiviral drug Paxlovid to speed up his recovery. The president will isolate for 5 days and should be able to return to normal activities after a negative test. Officials say it's unclear which strain of coronavirus the president has, but that those tests are being done. We are expecting to get a more in-depth update from the president's staff as well as a member of his medical team a little bit later on today. At the White House, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
The first confirmed case of polio in the U.S. in almost 10 years is in New York State. The person who has it lives in Rockland County, north of New York City. Local leaders provided details about the case and what needs to be done.
This individual is no longer contagious. Again, this individual is no longer contagious. And our efforts now are focused on two issues: vaccinations and figuring out if other people, anyone else has been impacted by this disease.
Rockland County held its first vaccination clinic today. On Thursday night, the January 6th House Select Committee laid out their case, showing what they say is former President Trump's dereliction of duty as the attack on the Capitol happened and in the days that followed. Two former staffers testifying the president would not call off his supporters, despite pleas from those around him to make it stop. Chad Pergram has more from Capitol Hill.
He chose not to act.
President Trump under the microscope during Thursday night's January 6th committee hearing. Witnesses giving a minute-by-minute account of what they say was the former president's inaction for 187 minutes while he watched his supporters attack the Capitol on live television.
He should have been telling these people to go home and to leave and to condemn the violence that we were seeing.
You could count me among those who was hoping to see an unequivocal, strong statement clearing out the Capitol, telling people to stand down, leave, go home.
And as the president refused to act, Vice President Mike Pence was in the Capitol just feet from rioters, members of his Secret Service detail fearing for their lives.
The Commander-in-Chief, you got an assault going on the Capitol of the United States of America. And there's nothing. No call, nothing, zero.
The nearly 3-hour hearing also included never-before-seen outtakes of President Trump the day after the riot, struggling to condemn the violence and refusing to accept the results of the 2020 election.
But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
Some Republicans say these hearings don't prove anything.
If they've done anything, they've exonerated President Donald Trump and Republicans who supported him.
The committee plans more hearings in September, weeks before the midterms. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Your complete weekend forecast is next. Plus,
one of the most iconic insects could be fluttering away for good. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with the latest on what's causing monarch butterflies to face extinction coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm meteorologist Sam Ryan. Looking back, temperatures over the last several days, we are in the low to mid 90s here, going to continue to warm up. Precipitation been dry the last few days, except for Monday where we had roughly 4/10 of an inch of rainfall. Overnight, keeping things quiet, 71 degrees at midnight, 67 at 3 a.m., and then waking up Saturday around 64 degrees. Notice the winds out of the south-southwest, and that's going to play a role here, keeping us on the very warm side. Sunrise occurs at 5:51 a.m., sunset now at 8:35 p.m. We're looking at about 14 hours, 43 minutes of daylight. A week from now, by the way, we're going to lose roughly 13 minutes and 41 seconds of daylight. Well, topping out 14 hours and 29 minutes now. Looking at, let's jump ahead here. We'll have the ridge trough situation set up, a setup where the ridge kind of developing off there to the Atlantic kind of slides a little farther to the east. We have a trough developing up for our northwest. That brings in cooler weather, and we'll get in between that. Well, we're first going to pump in a lot of heat and humidity that will lead to an eruption of showers and storms here developing Sunday and into the day Monday. We could also be faced with a threat in a few locales of some heavy rainfall, especially where we get some training of storms. So watching the big picture, again, that big ridge here in the central part of the United States is going to slide more to the east. And with that, winds out of the southwest helping to pump in a lot of this moisture with the spinning Atlantic high. And we get this trough forming. You see that here? And by Sunday, now here we are Sunday morning, we start to see those showers and storms beginning to fire off along that frontal boundary. So closer in, here's Saturday morning. We'll wake up staying dry here Saturday morning. Temperatures will be in the low 60s, 65 at 7 a.m., 89 at noon, and 91 at 5 p.m. Hour by hour look, again, it's a rapid warm-up, so we're in the low 90s. Humidity will be on the rise Saturday and really into the day Sunday out ahead of that front. So late Saturday, perhaps a few showers and storms. Sunday, 94 for a high, average is 84. Again, zoomed in look here, we'll see those showers and storms developing late Saturday into the day Sunday and kind of hanging out through the day Sunday. On and off showers and storms will be possible, and that will continue even into the morning on Monday. And so there we'll be faced with heavy rain threat at least. Not everybody will get hit with that heavy rain, but it's possible. So we'll be in the mid-90s again for the day Sunday, much higher humidity levels, just kind of a sweaty day. The humidity drops though as we go through the day Monday slowly, and then Tuesday's looking beautiful. We'll be in the mid-80s, upper 80s return for the day Wednesday, again with a chance of a few showers and storms.
They're one of the most recognizable insects, but the beauty of the monarch butterfly could soon be history. Ashley Strohmeyer has more on what's pushing these amazing creatures to their breaking point.
Its colorway is iconic, but the beauty and whimsy of the monarch butterfly could soon be a thing of the past.
What's happening to monarchs is like death by 1,000 cuts.
The insects are now facing extinction, with the International Union for the Conservation of Nature officially classifying the monarch butterfly as endangered, citing how the population has declined by more than 85% over the last 30 years.
There's very good evidence that that early decline, at least for the Eastern North American population, was due to breeding habitat loss.
According to wildlife experts, pesticides used by farmers are contributing to that environmental destruction and fueling the monarch's demise, with various weed killers in corn and soy fields wiping out nearby milkweed plants, a vital food source for monarch larvae.
Hot and dry conditions are not good for them through most of their range.
Altering weather patterns amplified by climate change are also taking their toll.
Monarch numbers are really tied to variation in year-to-year weather, and that the conditions that are best for monarchs are becoming more rare.
The Environmental Protection Agency says there are currently more than 1,300 endangered or threatened species of plants and animals in the United States. But the Fish and Wildlife Service has yet to list the monarch butterfly as endangered. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature says more than 41,000 species worldwide are now at risk of going extinct, with activists calling this the first ever mass extinction triggered by humans.
Instagram is upping its game with posted videos. The social media giant is turning virtually every video you post into Reels. Reels let users add music and effects to their videos. Followers can comment and create a remix of the reel. Instagram has added easy templates for reel making. Instagram is owned by Meta, the parent of Facebook. The company hopes to keep up with TikTok. Meanwhile, Facebook is giving its home feed a makeover, splitting it into 2 sections. The Home tab is for algorithm-based content, such as Reels and Stories. Suggested content for users will also appear on Home, so you don't miss friends' posts. A new Feeds page will feature recent content from Facebook pages, groups, and friends. There will be no suggestions among those posts. The FCC is cracking down on robocalls intended to scam car owners out of money. The Federal Communications Commission will now require telecom providers to block millions of calls disguised as auto warranty protections. This order applies to 13 individuals and 6 companies, mainly in Texas and California. The group bought nearly 500,000 phone numbers, then made it seem like the calls were coming from local numbers. Extended auto warranty calls are the single largest source of consumer complaints to the FCC in the last 2 years. Still ahead, investigators are on the lookout for water restrictions violators as Nevada struggles through a drought. That story and more coming up. The drought in the West has gotten so bad that bodies, World War II boats, and other artifacts are resurfacing at Lake Mead. As the water dries up, investigators are going after anyone who's wasting water. Ashley Soriano is in Las Vegas with more.
A landscaped lawn with real grass is a thing of the past for many homeowners here, and it will certainly be a thing of the past for most businesses thanks to a new statewide law.
Right now, we just went ahead and documented a water waste violation at this property.
Cameron Donnarumma goes out every morning as a water waste investigator to hunt for violations.
Anything that's broken, like those broken sprinklers, excess runtime. Sometimes people just have the runtimes on for too long, and then it causes all this water to run off.
40 states are experiencing at least moderate drought. Nevada has taken a first-in-the-nation measure to reduce the consequences. A law here bans grass that's purely decorative, like at some office buildings and along sidewalks.
If you live in Georgia, you're going to take measures to prevent against flooding. And if you're in Miami, you know you're going to take hurricane prevention measures. Well, water scarcity is our natural disaster here.
Athletic fields, cemeteries, and most residential properties are exempt from the ban, but about 70% of homes have voluntarily removed their lawns, replacing them with artificial grass or desert-friendly plants that don't require much water.
A lot of the time I'll see a yard that looks like this, and then a few weeks later I'll see it all ripped out. So I think we are making quite a difference.
And officials here voted this week to limit the size of newly built swimming pools, just another step to prevent the water crisis from getting worse.
Some California farmers are going a little greener and opting for eco-friendly tools. It's saving the money on fuel and helping to fill jobs when they can't find workers. Giovanni Ligi is in Livermore, California, with more on this futuristic farm tech.
This is where one of the world's first self-driving electric tractors is being built. It's remotely controlled, and farmers say it's making production quicker, cheaper, and safer. California has close to 70,000 farms, but growing is getting harder with inflation and drought.
Farming keeps you on your toes. Mother Nature bats last.
To help fight those challenges and speed up production, some farmers are switching to new tech and rolling out self-driving EV tractors.
You know, it used to be a big old tractor. You can see the diesel combusting out in the legs, and now you just have this quiet electronic, or electric with a lot of electronics on it, but electric vehicle rolling through.
Carl is one of the first to use this new tech at his vineyard. It helps him cut fuel costs and lets him track how his grapes are growing without him ever stepping foot in the field.
Farmers can now save more money by knowing exactly where to target their resources.
Getting these tractors from factory to farm has taken nearly half a decade. The company developing this high-tech tractor has been hammered with supply chain delays, making parts harder to find and more expensive.
If we can lower the farmer's cost basis by introducing automation, that alleviates the burden on the taxpayer. And that's good for everybody. It's good for the farmer, good for the consumer, good for the taxpayers.
And these tractors could also help farmers produce more by filling jobs they can't find workers to fill.
There is a massive labor shortage. These jobs that are on farms are dirty, dangerous, and dull, and they're facing the same challenges that every industry is with respect to labor shortage.
And these tractors also give off zero emissions. By having one of these on a farm, it would be the equivalent to taking more than a dozen cars off the roads.
Stay with us. We'll have more right after this. We want to leave you with a smile. One candy company is offering someone the chance to eat all the candy they want and pull in $100,000 a year while doing it. Candy Funhouse is based in Canada. It's looking for someone to try out thousands of candies and help pick out the candies to sell. The winner will also help decide whether or not to give that candy their official Chief Candy Officer stamp of approval. People applying must be at least 5 years old and live in North America. If you'd like to apply, you can visit candyfunhouse.ca. The deadline to apply is August 31st. Sounds like one pretty sweet gig. I'm Scott Beadle. Thank you for watching.